You don't have to get too far off the coast, less than half an hour's run to find good fishing grounds.
Nice little western fox fish, that one.
Well, those of you who watched the special last year may well remember Adrian, who caught the big jewfish. This year he's managed a beautiful King George whiting. Not quite as big as the Dewey, Adrian.
Oh, I don't know, I don't mind this either.
No, pretty good to eat. Well done, mate. I'll let you put him on the ice.
Thank you. 5 minutes.
It was jewfish we'd come to catch, but first...
I'd say it's one of those brown things.
Oh, I think it's a break sea.
Yeah, it's a sort of brown thing.
And a bit of work. Whoa! That's a little break sea cod. They've also got another name to do with this black spot here. What do you reckon they call them, Bushy?
Funny brown fish.
That'll do.
No, they're called the... What can we say it?
We can say black ass cod because that's what they're called.
He said black ass cod. All children leave the room.
On this trip, the Aqualib was being skippered by Richard's eldest son, Stephen, who has qualified as one of the youngest captains on the coast.
We're just on our way to another location of ours, and we're going to locate some coral and some jewfish, snapper, King George whiting, stuff like that. This is our autopilot, GPSs and an echo sounder. This sort of equipment is a very good idea to use, and you pay a little bit more and get some good stuff.
The boys on Aqualib have plotted hundreds of spots out here.
I bet it took you a long time to work out some of those spots.
Oh, it's taken a few years, Bushy, yeah.
Yeah, so you reckon I've had the GPS in my pocket while we're out there and I've got all the numbers, so you think they'd be worth a bit when I get back home?
Yeah, but we are not as sure yet.
Number 2 son, Ben, who has his coxswain certificate, also looks after lunch. Pity about the waitress.
Oh, straight off the barbie plate.
How's this?
Oh, I lost the rod. He's shown me food and I've gone to water.
Go Bushy! This thing's sizzling. Don't tell me it's a Samson. Oh.
There you go, there, Bush.
Well, we have got the double hook up.
I told Bushy about Richard Thomas and the Aqualib last year, and I showed him some of the photos of the big dewies we caught. And I said, you've got to come out with us, mate.
Oh.
What do you reckon?
Oh, I reckon he's hopeless. Took him all of 10 minutes to get us double hooked up. Oh, now you hooked yours first, Steve. But I think mine's bigger.
Oh, you could be right.
Can you get Richard to take us to a spot where they're a bit smaller, mate?
Yeah, these ones are a bit hard to pull in, aren't they?
We're only eastern staters. Come on, give us a break.
Bushy, you want the gaff or the tweezers?
Yeah, we got colour on Bushy's, got colour on mine. They're both going to come up at the same time.
Now, this is the only way that I can actually get my fish up without him talking about it, because he's got one of his own. I've got him knackered this time. Very nice. Very nice.
Well, that's a pretty fair start. I tell you what, nothing's changed here on the Aqualib. They still know how to find the big fish. And I think I've improved my personal best mark for a West Australian Dewey. It was at about 6.5, 7 kilos, and I think that bloke has definitely topped that. He'd be about 8 or 9 at least. He's a beautiful fish. If Bushy ever gets his in, we'll be able to show you that as well. I don't know what you're doing there,
I'm
Bushy.
giving you all the glory. I could have wound it up easy if I wanted to.
Oh, they're a great looking fish. Oh, damn, this fish has been hooked before and lost. And it's still got bait on it, so it's someone... Oh, Bushy, you got a little one.
We're a bit, don't worry about that. Well, we're a bit tangled up here, but...
Mine's definitely bigger.
Oh, but mine's heavier.
Aren't they heavy? They're solid.
I'll tell you what, this is just awesome fishing. We've fished all over the world, and this takes some beating. I've got to tell you, something you can really eat, fights like hell, catches in shallow water. Richard, you're a hero.
Bushy, welcome to Mandurah. Now, after that great trip out, we went back to Richard's and had a slap-up seafood meal. We ate the lot.
Well, you ate the lot.
Well, yeah, that's true. It included some marron, too, which is not so much seafood as pond food.
Back home, we've got a similar thing called a yabby. Lives in fresh water, but whatever you call it, you need a licence to catch it.
Being in Mandurah, we went to the local office of Fisheries Western Australia, but you can also obtain recreational licences at any Australia post office. G'day, mate.
G'day guys, how you going?
Good. We're heading out to try and catch some marron. Now, we need a licence for that, don't we?
Yes, you do. Have you had a licence before?
I've had one here for trout fishing in the southwest, freshwater southwestern licence, but that was a year or two ago.
Okay.
Bushy
I
hasn't
haven't
had
had
one. No.
All right. I'll get you to fill out an application form, and
Right.
then I'll have a look on the computer.
So would I still be on the computer properly?
Yeah, we'll have a check for that one.
Okay. So what's the story with these marron? How many can we catch?
Well, your licence entitles you to 10 marron, and that's over the marron season, which is January and February. Okay, and then you've got some gear restrictions with that as well. You're entitled to use drop nets and scoop nets, and there's some size restrictions, 76 millimetres on the head when you catch the marron.
Can we get the gauges off you?
Yes, we'll give you a gauge, we'll give you your licence, and we'll also give you some information to show you where you can go, where you can catch marron and what type of gear you can use at different places. Have you got any idea where you're going tonight?
No, not really. Have you got any suggestions?
Yeah, well, we're going out tonight, and we can take you to Lowbrook Dam if you like.
What sort of gear do we use there?
Well, that's a snare-only dam, and it's recently been reverted to snare, so the only gear you can use is a bushman's snare.
Oh, great. What Bushy's doing down there is throwing in handfuls of chicken pellets. That's our bait or burley. He's throwing them into a little mound about 1 metre offshore in quite shallow water. And then he marks the ground where he's made them and he moves on 20 or 30 metres and does it again. It's almost completely dark now. Once it becomes totally dark, the marron should come out and start to hunt. And hopefully they'll pick up the scent of our chicken pellets and they'll move in and start to feed on them. Then we'll move up and down the bank with our lights and look for the marron on the piles of chicken pellets. If we see one there, we're going to use a bush snare. It's a simple stick with a noose of wire on the end. Now, I've been told that what you've got to do is get it in behind the marron and very, very slowly move it towards his tail. Once he realises something's going wrong, he'll normally start to move backwards. And when the tail of the marron gets into the noose, you tighten the noose and the marron's yours. That's the way the story goes anyway.
I got one. Here he is, a marron. Fair and square by the middle. Unbelievable. Now, I think he's too small, but I'll find out. I've got my trusty gauge somewhere. Oh, he's a bit angry. Now, we've got to go from the back of this shell, the carapace, but he's undersized, this one, but I'm pretty happy that I've got my first marron. Put him in there, and oh! There must be a better way to do this. I got bitten by the last one, and I had my hands everywhere. I couldn't get the gauge in. Show us the real story.
Okay, Bushy, there is another way to measure marron, and that's by grabbing it the way you did, but with your other hand, just bringing it over the top and just holding the claws down and freeing your hand up.
Too easy.
And, when you do that, you can use your gauge, if I can find it, and put it on the back of the carapace and just use the swing method. If it hits that horn, then it's okay. If it swings past, like this one has, he's too small.
Missed again.
Right, now I've got a nice big one here in the shallows. Oh boy. Now I'm told they're going to go backwards when they realise something's going wrong. It's just a matter of getting it round him. It's as simple as that when you get it right. Fantastic stuff. He's a bit of a soft shell, this one. He's just shed one shell and he's in the process of hardening up his next shell. Really soft. They eat their old shell to get the calcium to use to harden up the next shell, and that's how they grow. It's the way most crustaceans grow. Tell you what though, his claws are still quite hard and he'll give you a nasty nip.
Steve, I got another marron.
Oh yeah, that looks a bit like a marron, but this is what they really look like.
Well done.
I tell you what, that is good fun. I had to chase this thing into the shallows and I thought I'd missed him a couple of times and he finally backed into
now the
net.
real story comes out. That wasn't a clean get.
No, it wasn't a first time shot, I got to admit, but...
Hang on, it's not a rubber one, is it? Oh, no, it is a real one. Yeah.
Now yours is not legal.
Okay, I'll put him back.
Put him back. Now this one I don't even have to measure. I can see that he's well and truly legal and he is going in the pot.
And after the break, cruising for crustaceans.
Oh, you dropped him back in.
No! Ow!
When you say Mandurah, people think
Crabs.
we're in Mandurah, so we're going to go and get...
Crabs.
But first of all, we need some...
Crabs.
No nets, you idiot.
Crabs.
Totally wild, fishing and camping, everything for the outdoors and all the right crab gear.
Half the shop's taken up with all this stuff.
How many are you giving us, boys?
The state regulations are 10 nets each per person, and that allows you 24 crabs per person per day. And if you happen to go out in a boat, which generally is where you use the drop nets, you'll add 48 per boat.
What's this doobie here?
Oh, well, that's to, we've got a lot of blowfish and stuff around, so, and birds, so that protects your bait.
All right.
So what's it going to be for bait, guys? Do you want the square cow poo, the spleen, or the good old mullet?
Spleen? You've got to be kidding.
Yeah, it's great stuff. Good for you. Crabs go bonkers on it.
And square cow poo. I'm not even going to get into that, but you better give us a little bit of everything.
Okay.
So this is some sort of boat stop, Stevie.
Yeah, there'll be one along soon, I think, mate. And there was. Peter Jackman lives on the canals and he seems to know the home address of every crab in Mandurah. A quick trip across the Peel Inlet in Peter's 4.4 metre Colt Mustang brought us to a favoured spot near the Dawesville Cut and Bushy's first bad line of the day.
So will I vent the spleen, Peter?
Put plenty in, mate. There's no shortage of spleen. So, Peter, some days, some baits work better than others, or?
Steve, I think as long as it's fresh, you stand a pretty good chance. But that's just sort of the norm we run. We had a bit of a run with chicken heads there for a while, and they were very, very good because the...
Wouldn't the chickens drown?
Only their heads, mate. Yeah.
Okay.
Like dealing with you guys.
Throw that one in, and it's obviously important to space them out a bit, so we're fishing through about... Ooh, Bushy, don't touch me with spleen juice. I tell you what, we are having a lot of fun here and we're horsing around a little bit, but seriously, you want to think about where you're putting your crab nets. Don't drop them in the navigation channels. It's an offence and it's dangerous. With the nets spaced out over about 200 metres, it's time to play crab lotto. Yeah. You've got to be kidding. That's been in about 5 minutes and we've got 2 crabs there. I'll just grab the little gauge. Now with these gauges, you've just got to measure from the widest point across the carapace. That one is so close to being legal, but we'll let him go. He's just a millimetre under. Don't they hang on, Bushy?
Yeah, I noticed that.
I think they'd hang on to your anatomy pretty well too.
Goodness me.
Don't break his claw off.
Yeah.
What happens, I think, after a little while, they just relax to get a new grip and you can get them off.
Yeah, I've noticed that. They relax really well. Geez, relaxed. If he was any more relaxed, he'd be asleep, Steve.
Hey, victory! There you go, mate.
More crabs.
Right, back to the top of the crab line. Yep, well and truly. It would seem that if you've got the right bait on the right day, catching crabs in Mandurah is not that hard. Into the pot. There are times, however, when the crabs get their own back. Ah! Oh!
Now, when you're handling crabs, be very, very careful. Some people have been known to get in trouble.
Well, I think we've got at least the beginnings of a good feed there, Bushy, and I've been told that the idea is just to cover them up, keep them out of the sun, so a couple of pages out of the West Australian with a bit of water on them, do the job. And I think we better show the folks how to cook them. The recipe's simple. Place crabs in boiling water, then stand around for about 10 minutes. Now, you've got to get them cold fairly quickly so they don't keep cooking, so we've got some nice clean salt water here. We'll just cool them down, tip them out into there, Bushy. And while they're cooling off, give me the basket and I'll go and get the next load. Well, Bushy, you've gone to a lot of trouble there. You've pulled all the meat out of one of the crabs, and that is going to make a great crab sandwich. But listen, mate, I'll let you in on a little secret.
This is the way. Delicate sandwich.
No, this is the way you make a crab sandwich.
You wouldn't. He would.
If you'd like your crabs a little more dressed up, then the Millhouse Cafe and Chocolate Company in Dwelling Up's the place. Chef Scott Spicer won the Crab Cook-Off at this year's Mandurah Crab Fest. This is how.
Some olive oil. Hot pan is the trick with this. So either a good quality cast iron.
Yep.
I've got some free-range eggs from Dwelling Up. I'm going to throw them straight in the pan. I've already seasoned those. As you can see, my omellette's puffed up already.
Wow.
I'm going to throw my crab in. and continue the cooking process using a circling motion. Now, as the crab puffs and sets, I'm just going to work it to the front of the pan, flip it over a couple of times. I just dress the salad with some baby spinach leaves, Franklin olive oil, a little bit of tomato juice, and good quality vinegar from the McLaren Vale. Some beautiful vine-ripened tomato, little salt. Then I've just finished this with some hand-blended basil oil, which is optional.
Oh, I'll take this one over to Bushy. You whip one up for me.
Okay.
I tell you what, if you're in Dwelling Up, make sure you call in to the Millhouse restaurant and make sure you order the crab omelette. Fantastic. If you'd like to try your hand at making your own culinary masterpiece, then Scott's recipe is in this month's issue of Table magazine. Next, something to drive.
And somewhere to park it.
Boating has always been a way of life here in the Peel region, and it's about to get a whole lot better.
The first stage of a $220 million development is now complete, offering boaties another first-class destination on the west coast.
Old landmarks like these underline the way we think of Mandurah, with its laid-back character and easygoing lifestyle. But if you've not been to Mandurah for a while, then it could be worth another look.
If you haven't been to Mandurah, you really should come and have a look at the new cultural centre. The foreshore has been fantastically upgraded. There's a new cappuccino cafe strip with boardwalks, and that's where all the boats tie up. The new cinemas, and I suppose I can't go without mentioning the Mandurah Ocean Marina, and that's just around the corner from the Peninsula Hotel, and that's going to be really the jewel in the crown, I believe, for Mandurah.
Well, we'd better have a look at that, eh?
Fantastic. What we've got really, I think, Max, is a realisation of a dream for a lot of people in Mandurah. We're building the second, or the largest marina it is outside metropolitan Perth, and it shows really what can happen when the state government joins with the City of Mandurah, the Peel Development Commission, and fantastic support from the community of Mandurah. Not only is it an area for recreational boating and the commercial rock lobster fishing fleet, but it's going to be a combo of all the things you see at Hillary's, so the tourism, retail, residential opportunities, short stay accommodation, a chalet park for families. It's really going to have everything.
So with shops, restaurants, accommodation, there'll be everything you'd ever need here in a marina. And if it gets to the point where you can't bear to leave, well, that's being taken care of as well.
Well, this is going to be fantastic for not only visitors, but people who live in the Peel, people who want to live in a marina environment. It's being built too so that it's very walkable, so people can stroll around. There'll be a lot of points of interest. It'll be for everyone.
And really well positioned, isn't it? I mean, you've got the ocean just here, back in there, everything that the estuary's got to offer.
No, you're totally right. So you've got crabbing, fishing, normal boating activities. I think the other great thing about this for Mandurah is it's going to create some 400 jobs. And any area likes job opportunities for the young, and 400 jobs is fantastic.
The marina is spread over 60 hectares with 20 hectares of water. The state government, through Landcorp, is investing $50 million. Private investment is expected to generate a further $170 million. The boat show at the weekend will showcase Mandurah's new pride and joy and test the market.
We're pretty excited about the boat show that's coming up, and also we'll be auctioning the first land in this stage one of the marina development, and we expect, based on current levels of interest, that's going to be pretty revealing in terms of what people think of the marina, how much interest and what sort of price they're prepared to pay.
If you don't have a boat, we've got the answer.
At the Club Marine Mandurah Ocean Marina Boat and Fishing Show.
Now that's quite a mouthful.
It is, mate. You can win your very own boat, and you can check out all the best makes and models, plus all the gear you didn't even know you needed to get out on the water.
What a way to christen Mandurah's new ocean marina. From Friday, it will host boats like these to amass the biggest collection of craft in WA. To put a value on the boats alone, it's more than $25 million worth. As far as I'm concerned, these are the boats I'm interested in. I could see myself slotting into a lifestyle on a houseboat very easily. But whatever boat interests you, you're sure to find it here from Friday on, right throughout the whole weekend at the Mandurah Ocean Marina Boat Show. If your taste in boats is a bit more upmarket than mine, then this is something you might prefer to call home from time to time. When you go looking for it at the boat show, it's called the Riviera 40. And does it bring a bit of pleasure to people's lives? Well, it certainly seems that way. As for living on it, you'd have to put up with this for the main bedroom with its inner spring mattress. Your guests would have to bunk down here, and you'd all have to wander around in spacious areas like these to navigate between mod cons like the dishwasher, the clothes washer and dryer, and the microwave. But your pleasures could be more simple than that. You may just be interested in the best way to coax that fish onto your line. In that case, you'd certainly find the tackle you'd need somewhere amongst this lot. And you'd find everything you could possibly need to come face to face with your fish in its own environment. Or just go down, have a look, and leave it right where it is. Whether your fish is a feed of tailor along the coast or a can of sardines out in the goldfields, you'll find everything here for roughing it. Although it doesn't look too rough to me. So if it floats, you'll find it at the Mandurah Boat and Fishing Show. There are things to do with navigating your boat through the water, as well as navigating the four-wheel drive through the bush. Something else you shouldn't miss is your chance to win a dinghy a day. On Friday the 12th, win a Bermuda 310 with 5 horsepower Mercury from Mandurah Outboards. Saturday's prize is a Quintrex 310 with 5 horsepower Yamaha outboard from Estuary Marine. And on Sunday the 14th, win a Savage Kingfisher with 5 horsepower Marina outboard from Yundrup Marine. To win, cut out the coupons in the West Australian each day this week, starting tomorrow, and place the coupons in the barrel at the show. The winner will be drawn each day at 5 p.m.
If you like your boating to be downhill, then the place to head is Dwelling Up.
And there you'll find some of the best whitewater rafting in the country.
These students from Kareen Senior High are on the 3rd day of their camp in Dwelling Up. Others haven't seen the inside of a classroom for a bit longer than that. Today's topic is navigating the Murray River. The first lesson is on safety.
The zipper on the jacket's done all the way up to the top, okay, and the buckle, as I said before, to adjust it if you want to make it tighter, please undo it first, then adjust it, just check it for fitting, then clip it back together again.
There are a few things to know about negotiating the river, which are best learned on dry land before they happen.
We're starting at Stringers today. We'll be travelling down for about an hour down to Island Pool. Okay, that will be where our first rapid is today. Okay, we'll be playing around in there. We'll be having a little bit of fun in one of the holes, just at the bottom of it. We'll be having lunch, okay, just after we've been playing around there. Then we'll be travelling down to Bob's Crossing. It's a pretty casual, relaxed day. Enjoy yourselves while we're out there.
Well, as Chris says, it's about 5.5 kilometres all up. The first leg, about 2 kilometres. No white water on that apparently, so shouldn't get wet. Maybe a bit warm though, just paddling along. Could get wet right here, in fact. There we go. See you down there.
This is an excellent section for the novice, okay? For a lot of everyday person that doesn't do a lot of canoeing or anything like that. It's a beautiful section to paddle, especially during springtime. The native flowers are out, sun's shining, and it's a really nice way to spend the day. The next section down, which is the Middle Murray, okay, is a little bit more adventurous, for the more adventurous person, of course. High grade of rapids. It's a full day out there. It's a nice paddle, you're around about 12 k's long, okay? And the next section along after that is the Lower Murray, okay? And that has a much higher grade of rapids and a lot more enjoyable. The next one we've got coming up is Island Pool. We've got a nice little rapid there. It's a 2-stage rapid. As you're going down, what you want to do is line up straight down into the green water, okay, straight down in the green tongue, paddle forwards, keep yourself moving faster than what the water is flowing, and just keep yourself directing straight down through the flow. I like to be down on the rocks there with the throw bag, just in case you do come out. Okay, just for safety procedures.
Any rocks to look out for?
There are one or two. One on the left-hand side as you get down to the second drop there. Just keep yourself bearing off to the side. If you do bump into it, don't worry about it. You'll spin around and it will be fine. We do a pack and paddle, which is a standard package. You come into town, just leave your vehicle in town. You walk out along the Bilberman track to one of the huts just down the road from here. We then pick you up. We then put you on the water and you can paddle back into town again. It's a nice interaction. You're out there, you do a little bit of hiking, you can spend the night out there. The following day you can come down here, you can jump in a canoe and just paddle on down the river, and we collect you again after that as well.
And that too would be discovering only a part of this magical forest that's right at our back door.
It's close, it's viable. There is so much to do around here. There's a wealth of different activities, everything from mountain biking, whitewater rafting, to hiking, to camping. There's a whole variables of things down here to do. It's just about something for everyone. Coming up to springtime, there is an absolute wealth of flora which is coming out. It is beautiful. There are four-wheel drives, walking, everything around, so yeah.
Well, that was invigorating. Comfortable little paddle, a couple of nice whitewater spots along the way. It rained, but you just dress according to the conditions. Doesn't worry you with a wetsuit on, and I wouldn't have missed it for the world.
Next, we go back to the future.
I'm standing on one of the best fishing spots in town, the old Mandurah Bridge. Generations of locals have started their fishing here and they're still coming back.
Fishing of all sorts has a rich and colourful history here in the Mandurah area, and the recreational angler has been well catered for since the early days through the construction of fantastic fishing platforms like this one under the old bridge. I tell you what, if these pilings could talk, they could tell some stories about the big fish that have been hauled up onto here, including some monster mulloway. But not too surprisingly, the earliest European interest in fishing in this area had a commercial basis. And they started netting the mullet in these estuaries almost as soon as Europeans moved here. The first cannery was built in the 1870s to tin those mullet and send them all over the state and further afield. Sadly, however, that fishery collapsed within a few short decades through over-harvesting, and eventually they had to get rid of the nets out of the river systems here, and luckily they've been able to keep them out and the fish numbers have come back. But of course, going way back before European days, 20, 30, 40,000 years ago, this area was being fished, and fished very intelligently by the local Aborigines, and that's what we're going to have a look at right now. On the Serpentine River, Bushy and I met up with Joe Wally, who knows a thing or two about the area's fishing history. So Joe, the fish trap or munga was right here, was it?
Yeah, it would have been right across here.
And what was it made out of?
This was made out of sticks and things that put up the spikes right across the river a certain distance or space, so that the small fish can go through, the bigger fish get stuck. That's how they used to catch them. The family used to, they'd get a family in the other side that makes a lot of mud. Just the mud comes down the main river here, and the fish, you can't breeze in that mud if it gets too thick. He's got to come up for hair. And when he comes up, he's usually against the munga here, so the people grip him, chuck him out on the bank.
The traps have long gone, but another significant Aboriginal site has been preserved in what we now know as Hall's Head. It's included in a tour run by Quilla Dreaming, and my guide was Priscilla Bradley. So Priscilla, what's the significance of these poles?
Well, these poles just represent the food sources that the Noongar people used to eat down this area. Each pole would have to represent the seasons that we'd have, and the seasons would determine what food was plentiful at that time.
Right.
Yeah.
And I see the dolphin on here. That wasn't a food though, was it?
No, the dolphin was a spiritual being. For the Noongar people used to call them their brothers, and that actually helped them with the mullet and the fish. And
also, when the dolphins rounded up the fish, the people would hunt the fish
and they'd know there were fish there. This area is Windjan's camp, and Windjan was a Noongar leader from this area. He used to camp all along here.
What have we got over here?
Over there, that's the actual Windjan's campsite there.
Okay.
And over here we have a freshwater soak.
Oh, so is this where they would have got their drinking water from?
Yeah, that's what they would have got used the turtle shells. Used to scoop them out, or the paper barks, which is still around there.
So these are the long-necked turtles that live in the freshwater and up in the rivers and everything?
And in the estuaries as well. Yeah. It starts off with the male and the female. They were at mate, and then the female will come back. And then the babies, they'll turn into females or males, and then it just starts all over again.
Yeah. Great, isn't it?
And where we're standing is actually the actual campsite here, Windjan.
Windjan's campsite.
Yeah.
And you were telling me before that he would tell all the people in this area when to move on.
Yeah. That was just land management.
Right.
So the Aboriginal people never used to stay in one camp area and use up all the resources. They'd actually move on, so then give it time for the resources to grow back again.
So he'd make sure they weren't overutilising the resources in an area. When it looked like they were beginning to be stressed, he'd tell them to move on to another area. Bit of a lesson in that, I think, for us. At any time of the day, whether you're here in the Mandurah estuary, out on the Peel Inlet or down at Dawesville Cut, you're likely to see dolphins. But have you ever wondered just how close an encounter it's possible to have with these fascinating marine mammals?
The laid-back lifestyle of Mandurah is its #1 attraction. Just cruising the waterways of this ever-expanding city is a great way to enjoy the morning sun. But we're here to experience so much more. For some, it's a lifelong dream to swim with the dolphins. For others, it's an anxious wait, unsure what to expect from these wild animals.
They will get within reaching distance quite often to swim underneath you. If you go under, they can even swim above you. So they will get very, very close, but never touch them.
No food, no enticing. We play by their rules, we're in their playground. But on dolphin encounters, they encourage you to come out of your shell and to get the most out of a few hours.
When you're in the water with the dolphins, make as much noise as you like, okay? Noises like or singing or talking, anything you like. And don't be embarrassed about it. You hear us making all these funny sounds, and please do that as well, because that keeps the dolphins interested in you.
So once we were briefed, the search began for our friends, the amazing mammals that seem to have the same fascination for us we have in them. It didn't take long. They found us, and what a sight it was. It was amazing. From the boat, the dolphins seemed to go from person to person, visiting all 6 members of our group.
If you tend to sit in the water, they may come up and then they may go away because then you're not that interesting and they will go to somebody else who's moving a little bit more. If you can turn around in circles with them, that's a great game for the dolphins. So if they come close to you, go around in big circles, follow them around, and they love that. They stay with you. Very friendly. Yeah.
On we went, and again they found us, mother and newborn. And then the others caught up. It was all on cue and seemed too amazing to be real. For me, a pair of dolphins swam directly towards me. So close, I could have reached out and touched them.
And there's not very many places in the world where you can go now from a capital city and swim with dolphins.
No, no. I think we're very, very lucky to have them so close to us here.
Dolphin Encounters is the only operator in the Peel region authorised to allow swimmers to interact with dolphins. Ingi says days vary, but you're guaranteed to see them. They live here.
Is it always exciting and so much fun for you?
Always. Every day is different. You never know which dolphins you're going to see. You never know what they're going to do. Sometimes they might be off mating or just playing behind a boat. Sometimes they just stay around with us for up to an hour. Sometimes they're swimming around and they don't seem to get enough. You never know what you're going to see.
Now this has been a dream of yours for a long time.
Yeah.
What do you think of it all today?
It's absolutely fabulous. Can't wait to do it again. That was
it was really good. Yeah?
Yeah, it was the best.
How far? Just describe what happened down there.
Oh, like you're just swimming around and like the dolphins come right up and you can like practically touch them and they're just swimming around you. It's like so good.
Clouds. Yeah, very close. It's very, very nice.
There are few places in the world you can experience something so wonderful. And remember, Mandurah is only an hour's drive from Perth.
And coming up on the beach
And in the river.
If you're like some members of our crew, then going way out to sea in search of a feed of fish might not really be your thing. Well, fortunately, there are some great beaches around Mandurah that offer fantastic fishing potential. But as usual, success is all a matter of timing. This delightful little spot is Polly's Hole at Hall's Head in Mandurah, and we've come out just before sunset with a cast of thousands to throw a line into the surf. Now you'll notice that the beach here is quite steep. We're about halfway into the tide at the moment. I'm actually standing at the high tide level and Bushy's fishing down there at where the water level is at the moment. They've been catching some tailor and even the odd mulloway here of late on ganged hooks and hoping for the best, and this is the magic hour from now until that big jaffa sinks below the horizon. Woohoo! Oh well, that's a start. It's a nice little, they call them silver brim here back in the east. We call the same fish a tarwine. It's in the brim family, and the best way to pick it from the black brim is by its more rounded forehead profile and also by the golden yellowy stripes that run along the length of the fish. They're actually made up of a little yellow spot on each scale, and it has quite yellow fins. And it grabbed the tail of that muley. I'm going to be able to unhook it quite easily. It's well and truly legal. Beautiful fish. Look at the sun shining through its fins there in the last of the afternoon light. Very pretty little fish. As I said, well and truly legal, but I'm going to pop him back in. The cat in the hat wasn't faring too well, but with the last light of the day, I got another bite. Ah, well, this is what we came for. Something a little bit stronger. I'd say this is a tailor. And I'm just going to use the waves to bring him up. That's actually a mulloway. Well, I'll be. How about that? It's only a baby mulloway, but it's a mulloway. Oh, I tell you what, I'm pretty happy about that, I got to tell you. Over on the east coast, we wait a long time to catch one of these things. Sometimes they're a bit bigger than this one, but it's a mulloway all the same. Definitely under the 50 centimetre minimum legal length, so I'm going to take the hook out and pop it back into the surf. Whew. Well, you just never know what you're going to pull out of the surf next. Came in with a big ball of seaweed and I stuck my hand in the middle and something sucked me. Turned out to be this octopus, so I had to grab the light to see if it had any blue rings on it. It hasn't. It's a common brown octopus, but a bit of a lesson there for young players. Be careful there's nothing living in the middle of the seaweed before you stick your hand in. Ooh, I don't know if this is going to be dinner or bait. Our overnight camp on this trip was a luxurious one. The Quest Apartments on the Mandurah canals. They sleep 5 or 6, which means I could get well away from Bushy's snoring and enjoy all the comforts of home and then some. The other bonus is being able to park your boat at the front door, or in our case, pick up your water transport. It was driven on this day by Patrick George from Mandurah Tackle, who's taking us brim fishing up the Murray.
Now, Patrick, if you had to give away your 2 best tips as to how to catch black brim in the Murray or in this area, what would they be?
Probably the best one would fish the shallow side of the river.
Right.
And my suggested bait is always river prawns.
The old river prawns.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you can't beat that. Anyone watching, cop those couple of tips from Patrick, and I reckon you'll catch a couple of black brim. Oh, tell you what, they can fight all right in here.
Yeah, they go.
Oh, this one's a bit better, Steve.
I saw the flash when you hit him. Did he take off fast with the bait?
Yeah, he certainly did.
Give us a
Nice
look,
little
Bushy.
black brim.
Oh, well done.
Well, there you go. I'm pretty happy with that. I'll just rip that hook out. We might keep this one for dinner.
Certainly will, mate. We'll put him in the light tank. Keep him in.
You beauty.
I wasn't catching brim, just the odd grunter, so we headed for a spot where I know we'll get some seafood. Well, one of the really nice things about fishing your way up the Murray River towards Pinjarra is that you can stop here at Ravenswood Sanctuary and come into the Red Cliff Barn restaurant and enjoy a lunch like this. What could be better? Tell you what, Bushy, I know why the brim like these prawns. Late in the day, at another of Patrick's favourite spots, Bushy got his second good brim.
We're right on that snag.
There we go, we move right in on a lovely snag here, and also it's getting a little bit later in the day, and I think these fish are starting to get active. It's great fishing. There's one other bonus to fishing up the Murray, and that's the trip home into the setting sun. Well, we really hope you've enjoyed the show, and Bushy and I look forward to seeing you next weekend at the Club Marine Mandurah Ocean Marina Boating and Fishing Show.
That's still quite a mouthful, Steve. The show's on 9 to 5, Saturday and Sunday.
And don't forget, you can win your own dinghy through WOW and the West Australian newspaper.
The coupon's in the West today and all of next week. Cut it out and drop it in the barrel at the show.
We'll see you there. Look at that, he wasn't all that well hooked either. That's not my hook. That's someone else's. You be fiddling with your thing.
Right.
So it's an undersized dewey. Oh, it's a big sea sweep.
A big
Look at the
sea
size
sweep.
of that for a sweep.
Look at that.
Holy smoke.
Well, I didn't even know they got that big.
That is the biggest sweep I've ever seen.
That'd be almost the clean sweep, wouldn't it, Steve?
Oh, very good. Yeah.
Have a look at that. Woo!
That's the spot right in close there, isn't it? I've cast 1,000,000 miles to the other side of the river. Oh, it's a grunter. Hey, they go, don't they?
Don't they ever? Another grunter.
That's all right, I'll get a brim over here.
I think I am the grunter king. Ow! Did you say they spiked?
Yeah, they do a bit, mate.
Oh, it hurts too.
Oh, yeah, they're toxic. It didn't gallop around like the first dewey I got, but I think it probably is a dewey.
Is it as big as this?
I'd say it probably had one of those for lunch, Bushy.
I have a really slippery fish. Whoa!
Got him.
Oh, that's better. It is better.
Yeah. Oh, you know what that is?
Yeah, bloody great lump of stick.
It's not a perch, that's a birch.